Initially, the White House said the Inflation Reduction Act was about bringing down costs for families. A number of economists concluded that the inflation that has come down was not a direct result of the IRA. And meantime, we were told initially that the climate investments in this bill would cost somewhere around $385 billion. Now we've got new estimates putting that number at least $1.4 trillion, potentially, could go even higher because of the uncapped portions. I want to take another stab at Asma's question because I think it's important going into 2024 where you've said yourselves that voters don't understand everything the president has done. Polls keep showing that people are broadly unhappy with the president's handling of inflation in particular. And the president has said he wished he didn't call this the Inflation Reduction Act. What should you call it?
Well, he said, following that sentiment, because I think it's a complicated bill, that it also has reduced costs, and I think it's very important to know. I think that the statute is working as it's intended. With respect to the cost, that's on the, I haven't heard that one yet. But I think the Joint Tax Committee said that there's been a greater take-up of the manufacturing.
Thank you so much. Thank you for doing this again. My pleasure. Thank you for everything that you're doing. Okay, let's move on. As you all know, today is the first anniversary of the Inflation Reduction Act. Most one-year-olds can barely walk. But this one-year-old is up and running. I couldn't help myself, sorry. Up and running. So that's very excited. We're very excited about the Inflation Reduction Act and everything that it's doing. And with that, I have two guests with me. And as you know, in a couple of hours, the president will deliver remarks at an event marking all this transformative bill has accomplished in just a year. You guys didn't laugh about my one-year-old joke. Okay. All right, but let me just make sure I get their titles right, so I don't want to mess this up. As we're going to hear from the Senior Advisor to the President for Climate Innovation and Implementation, John Podesta, and also the Domestic Policy Advisor to the President, Neera Tandem. Please come on up.
We're marking the one-year anniversary of a truly transformative piece of legislation, the Inflation Reduction Act, which is the largest investment in clean energy and climate action ever in the United States, in the history of the world. To stop these disasters from getting even worse, we have to cut the carbon pollution that's driving the climate crisis, and that's what the Inflation Reduction Act is all about. It makes the largest investment in clean energy and climate action in the world, touching every sector. 1 year in, this historic law is advancing Bidenomics.
But there is this broad disconnect in what the polls have shown with how Americans feel the president's handling the economy. I understand the pandemic and all the drag of inflation. At what point does this resonate with Americans, and do you expect they'll ever give credit to the president while he's in office for these accomplishments?
But we should be really clear that the provisions of the Inflation Reduction Act are incredibly popular. I mean, 80% of the American people, 75% of the American people, Democrats, independents, and Republicans support lowering healthcare costs, support ensuring Medicare can negotiate drug prices and other provisions as well.